Oh, I would love to get a copy of this.
Well, we can do that. That can be arranged. And here's some things before Mother died. It seemed my daddy was dying for a long time. He had hardly been out of bed since Christmas. It was hard to find enough help to take care of him. And then when he was ready to die, we went to Perkins, and she said, "Isn't it nice that we have that place ready for him? Because the stone was up." Yeah, so that's what she said.
That was Grandma said that?
Yeah.
She said that before he died?
Yes, but we had the place ready. So you got to start looking for a place for me.
We already know where it is.
So he had his, they had figured out their burial plot and their headstone and
yeah.
all of that was done?
Yeah, it was sitting there, but it wasn't marked on. At least I think it was. Well, this is my mother's last days, which I would maybe dear family and friends. This is the recruiter. And part of the news story. I don't know how far back you're going to go. Because I think Mother writes in there about when they took over the windmill. When
Oh,
she was
really?
in Belgium, yeah.
I haven't seen this. This is great. I got from Hildy something that had been written, but it doesn't look like either of these two things. I have it with me.
Oh, Hildy, yeah. She's
Yeah.
different. Yeah, she had, and then Mary and I, this here was in the paper.
Yes.
You've got that, huh?
Well, I saw it here. So can I have this one?
Sure, you can have your one.
We have a copy machine downstairs.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, he came because the family did not have enough to eat. They weren't even enough potatoes, so he went to work when he was young. I don't know if it says that in this piece or not.
I heard he was like 13
Yes,
when he left for
when he left school.
France.
Well, I don't know about that part. Might be in here. You check it out. He went to work, and then I don't know what caused him to decide to come to America. Somebody must have said it was a good place to go and work. And Uncle Joe came about the same time.
And Uncle Joe was Grandma's.
Grandpa
No. Uncle Joe was related how? He wasn't related.
No, he wasn't until he married Aunt Leona. That's when I think he got related. See, I got a lot of stuff in here. Here, this is Mother in her car.
This one I have.
Good.
Did you know I took that picture?
I did not know you took that picture.
This is Mother's hair.
Yeah, what's with that?
Well, when she had her hair all cut off right after the wedding, I guess, I got the red hair. Nobody wanted it. And we have some grandchildren with red hair. This is probably only about a fourth or third of what I had. I mean, what?
So everybody got their hair cut when they got married?
No, she just had hers cut because it was too long. No, I don't know why she had it cut, but that's her hair. Here's Grandpa's garters. You see?
That is red.
Oh yeah, that's red, and that's
Is
what
it like a
Michaela's is. Michaela's is that red.
That is amazingly red.
Pretty red. Auburn red.
Yeah, Michaela's is that red. This is Mother's friend.
She was a friend in Belgium.
Correct. And Rosemary can tell you for sure, but I think that's the one that was still alive when Mother went back, right? Oh, good.
I don't know that for sure, but that sounds right. I heard a story about someone being alive yet when she went back.
Yeah, that was her. That was her. She was so happy about that. I don't know what all the rest of this is, but
Do you remember Grandma talking about much of these things? Did she share a lot of stories with you?
talking about what happened in Belgium. She did talk about when they took over the country, though. I mean, when they took over the land, they came marching through there, and they used the mill for a watchtower and a lookout. And then she talked about when Grandpa had to bring, her dad, had to bring some of them to the front line that were falling back. And they wanted to see his papers when he was coming back. Well, he faked that he had his papers, so he got to come back. Otherwise he wouldn't have. And see, Uncle Henry, it must be in one of these books, Uncle Henry and Aunt Sidney and Uncle John. I don't know if they all came together or not. But, so, and then Mary will tell you that somebody paid their way, that my folks' way.
Your mother.
My mother and grandparents. Yeah, when they were to come. I think it was this, what's the recruiter from Moline? You know, that is in the history.
So they paid for them? I didn't know that they were...
Yeah, they sent money so that they could get on this ship. And it was night when they left. And they were in the dark. But, yeah.
So they left in the dark because they wouldn't have gotten out otherwise.
Probably
it was
not.
undercover.
And grandmother had diabetes. There, tell Mary that. Yeah, she had diabetes, and they put them in a stateroom, something where she could be better taken care of, and then they had to come a long ways on the train and stuff. And when they got to Nebraska, they were living in Lincoln there. Anyway, there was lots of big hugging going on. Mom was so happy to see them, and they were so happy to see her. She lived very few days after that. She made the trip. So, but, and there's a lot more stuff in there about Uncle John and the butcher shop, and Uncle Henry supposedly he left because he'd be drafted. Well,
Henry left Belgium because he'd be drafted?
But he's been drafted over here then, so he went to fight for the U.S. And it was not a nice fight at all. I think it injured his mind. I really do, because he was a little different. But, and he did go back and bring out Helen. Helen, I don't know her name, her maiden name.
Is he the one that went back after the war to find a wife?
I think he had her kind of picked out already.
Because he was only there 6 weeks or something like that.
When he went back?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Or maybe, I don't know for sure.
Well, he probably knew her before, I would think. But
So he left Belgium to
come to America.
To avoid fighting in the war.
That's what it says, that he, to avoid being drafted over there. But that's what they say. But I don't know. So it was whatever. But there's lots of stuff in here. Lots of stuff in here that you probably don't need any of.
No.
That's what I was telling you. It might be in one of those things you're looking at. These are the last notes before Dad died. Oh, he left. No, this isn't that. He left because he tried to go to school. And one day he went to school, one of the time. He had to pick potatoes, and the teacher said he would not be going to school, he'd be picking potatoes. And you think this is a pigeon house? You can come to go as you like. So he stayed home.
They said that to Alois.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is what happened in Belgium. If you want to look through it and read it. I mean, other things that happened there.
So these are notes that you took?
Well, I probably talked to Dad.
Uh-huh.
And somebody said. But there is one that someplace. I'll take a look at these.
Please.
But, someplace, there was one that Larry, Mary and I interviewed him, and we heard a lot about his life.
That's where Joe is. Mary and Joe. Is this? Because I couldn't figure out who the J.O. was. But if that's Josephine.
That's me. Yeah, this is the one that she talked to Dad and I talked to Dad, and of course she put it together. So.
What do you remember about your mom? What are some stories about her
Fun.
that you...
My mother was fun. She could laugh and she could play cards and she could socialize. She was just a lot of fun. Yeah.
Do you remember her as fun?
Later,
As a mom?
As a mom,
Oh.
she was quite busy. There were 4 or 5 of us there, you know, in no time. So, no, I don't know she was much fun then. But as I got a little older, I recognized that she just had to live then for work.
Mm-hmm.
She did. And then she took good care of us. And Mary never had to work.
How did that happen? I've heard that before. But how does that happen?
Who told you that?
Who do you think?
Me, your mother. Dick.
No, maybe. Yes.
Dick did.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Good for him. No, she had the upstairs bedroom. We slept in this bedroom, it's no longer here. And then she slept in that bedroom with the ceilings coming down. And she, I don't know if we treated her very good. She got teased between Jean Ellen and Rosemary. She'd get teased. So she just basically studied all the time, which is all right. She studied all the time, and that when she was to go to, when it came time to go to college, it was no question that Mary had to go to school. She couldn't do anything else. Don't put that in there.
How did it end up that you went to school?
Well, see, Mary went to school. Rosemary went to Winona, to maybe St. Teresa's, to where Mary had gone. And then I went to school because I was done with high school. I was done with high school, and a couple of people said that I'd make a good nurse, so I went to school.
Did you think about, I mean, other than people telling you that, had you thought about being a nurse before that?
I doubt it. I never thought much. I never thought very deeply about anything. I just followed where I thought I was supposed to go.
And it worked out.
Well, it's been all right. It's been okay.
So what was that, when you left, where did you go to school, to nursing
I
school?
went to St. Catherine's in the nursing division, which was in Minneapolis. There was Minneapolis and St. Paul. Some of them went for nurses, but I went for Minneapolis. Margaret was part of that deal. She used
Tell
to
me
work.
about Margaret.
You want to hear about Margaret?
Yes.
Margaret was a good lady. She kept Mom having fun. She kept Mom having fun, and she just instigated things. She was wonderful. And when we knew Margaret was coming, this was later years then, we'd be out on the mailbox waiting for her. She was just alive.
And what was her role in the family?
Oh, I think she'd been in one of the places where she could come out and work. And she was there for a long time. And I don't know which, like it was some home or some place where she had to put in some time to, but I don't know. She was just fun. You knew her.
I think I met her once.
Oh.
But I don't understand
Sometimes
how she got introduced to the family. Did your
Well, Mother was
hire-
looking for help.
Okay.
And it was a state thing, I think, where she came from.
Oh, a girls' school or some
Something.
kind of,
Yeah.
or a girls' home maybe, not necessarily for troubled children, but just for children that foster home. You thought she might have been on the fringes of trouble. How old was she when she came? Was she 20?
She probably was that all right.
Mm-hmm.
But she fit in real well. Mom and her got along and had fun together.
And she knew how to work? I mean, what did she do for work? Around?
Keep up, take care of the kids,
Okay.
do this and that and the other thing.
So if she was 20, how old were you?
don't know.
Well, you were 15 or?
Oh no, I was younger than that. Margaret,
Oh,
when
okay.
Margaret was there, I was younger than that. But she kept come to visit all the time, and it was really.
But she lived with you
Yes, she did live in the house.
for several years?
Well, yeah, she lived with us all the time. She worked for us. Oh well, no, wait a minute. No, she wasn't working for us when she moved. She got married, and she's been in California now. Margaret, sometimes she was this side, and sometimes she was this side. That's what Margaret did. And she'd give you a hug. When she was big, she'd give you a hug, you almost got lost.
I saw a picture, I think, of Margaret. She wasn't a real tall woman.
She's taller.
Was she tall? I remember, I think I saw a picture of her. She had a belt on and a black and white polka dot dress. But she looks very small in that picture. Tiny.
Sure it's Margaret?
No. No, I'm not.
You're not sure it's Margaret. Margaret was sometimes heavy, and the last time we went to California, we did go and see her, but she died in a nursing home.
What year did she die?
Oh,
10 years ago?
not that long. In
Okay.
between 5 and 10, I would say.
So what would she do around the house? What were her chores?
She'd keep us busy, and she'd do the chores or stuff like that, whatever needed doing. She was there to do it.
Like canning and laundry?
She'd help
and-
with all that stuff, but Mom was really in charge. She liked to play with us, too.
That helps a bunch.
So your mom would tell her what needed to be done and she would do it.
No, she knew by herself. She knew what needed to be done all by herself.
So do you remember, did your mom have help most of the time when you were at home?
She didn't have help all the time, no, but she got help. Well, you see, Dad went back to Belgium, so there was somebody with her, and I think it might have been Margaret, because then there was a man for the farm, too. I think that might have been Joe Gish. So we caught them hugging in the barn.
Oh, no.
We had the horse, so it was interesting. And we still went to see Joe Gish, not, before he died, up here at some little town up there.
So Margaret didn't marry Joe?
No, she didn't marry Joe, but she was always glad to hear how he was. No, she got married to somebody else. She got married to a man from Minneapolis, I think. And there's a number of children there. I'd have to look that all up, too, because I don't remember.
And there was usually a hired hand there, a hired man to...
Oh, yeah, until Don got old enough to do most help out. Yeah, Dad, there was always one. I don't know. In the summertime, he'd get two, because it was shocking, and that's all. It was all done by hand, so it was shocking and thrashing and stuff like that. So there was always one there. He liked to trap. That's Joe Gish, I think. He liked to go trapping, and Dad said that was fine, but just do it before. Get it done early. And he'd trap and he'd hunted. We'd have a whole, what a wash boiler is, a blonde wash boiler. He'd have it all full of pheasants. I mean, clean pheasants, because there was other people would hunt too. It wasn't just him alone. And I know we were dogs, to raise the pheasants out. We had to hike through them.
Did he eat the pheasants, or did he give them to the family?
Oh, no, he was living with us.
Oh, okay.
He had a room with us, and
He shared it with...
oh yes, the pheasants, but if he caught a mink or something like that, then that was his for sure.
Because he could sell the skin.
He could skin it and sell it. He was...
Did he shoot deer for...
No, Dad wouldn't let him shoot anything in our woods, in our grove.
Because... Just wanted it there?
They were his.
Uh-huh.
They were.
Interesting.
And he served in, you'll have to ask Larry, 4 or 5 wars Joe Gish did. I mean, I don't know. He died. I'll have to find that one, I can tell.
I was trying to do the math. 4 or 5 wars is quite a few wars to
Well,
serve.
yes, it
World
is.
War I and II were pretty close together.
I don't know. So,
What, do you know why your dad didn't want people to shoot on their land?
Oh, do you mean to hunt
to
afterwards?
hunt?
Because some of the hunters will damage, walk through and do this and that and the other thing. No, and I think he was, maybe, I don't know if he was concerned about livestock too. That, no, he didn't want them hunting on his land. He didn't care for guns.
He didn't hunt.
Didn't hunt. But he took us fishing.
Tell me about that.
He'd take us fishing, and well, we didn't catch a lot of fish, but he went over to Lake Marshall, you know, and he most of the time was probably busy putting worms on whatever we were using. No. We went fishing a couple of times, and we went fishing someplace on kind of a creek or something. He took us fishing, and took us to, when they had, or maybe Mom did, take us to those outdoor movies they used to have in Milroy and such. So,
So you did some things that were fun.
oh, absolutely. I didn't know it, but they were. I'm kind of dumb. And it's getting worse.
How old were you when you went fishing? 10 or something like
Oh,
that?
probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So Dick would have been, what? How old would Dick be then?
What would Dick be when
5?
I'm 10? You figure that out.
Thinking 5. And the whole family would go fishing.
Not Mother. No, that was her day off.
So this was like Grandpa's day with the kids.
Well, Dad's.
Every
His
time.
Dad would take us, and I don't know if Mary went along or not, because that takes a lot of patience to fish. And she probably wants to read.
And Margaret didn't go.
No, Margaret didn't go. I don't even know if she was with us all that time. I
And
think
to get to the fishing,
car.
you had a car.
Your dad had a car. Whatever kind of car we had, we was out by Marshall.
Tell me a little bit about the cars your parents had.
Oh, I'm not interested in cars. I don't know what kind they were. I think they had an Oldsmobile for a while, but
Were they in good shape? Did they work?
oh yes, they worked. They worked, and they did need a car enough times so that they'd work. But what cars they were, Larry might know.
Was it a big deal when they got a new car? Do you remember? I mean, or was it just kind of like, yeah, it's a car?
Well, they didn't get them very often. I think the last car they got is the one that I remember them really getting a car. But I know he had some old thing with the tires, you know, kind of off, not off, but they weren't all covered up. So, no, you'll have to ask somebody
Did they
else.
get
Did Dick
new-
know?
I didn't ask him that.
Oh,
Did they get new cars or did they get used cars?
I think they got new cars.
Oh, really?
I think they got new cars. Well, that was Dad.
So when he
Didn't
got
want it
something,
broken when he bought it.
he didn't buy it broken.
No.
He
I
always
think
bought
this
new.
Don has had a story about Dad. He went to Tracy to get a new car, and they dickered on it for a while. And he told him Dad told him what he'd give, and then the other guy went to Don. He says, "Well, that's all you'll get." So then he did buy it. I mean, they did sell it to him for the price that Dad said he'd pay. So.
Don said you're not going to get another penny out of this, so you may as well just settle it. That's it.
Is that what he told you?
No, I didn't get to
That's
talk
what
to
it is. No, but I thought maybe Irma might have said something.
She didn't tell me that story.
No.
She didn't mention that one. So what? So your dad, he'd take you fishing.
Well, he
And-
took his fishes and what did he was working all the time. And we went and picked rocks with Eddie Hingle or somebody and make a rock pile. I got a rock pile in my garden. It's important.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what did Dad do with us? Well, he liked his beer with Joe, and company would come, and then he'd do that. But he didn't pay a great deal of attention to the kids. But
When you went to nursing school, did they bring you up there? They drove.
they drove me to Minneapolis, yes. And Margaret was living there, and so one time she had to go and tell those nuns that I was supposed to go to Margaret's house, and they didn't want to give me a leave, and she went right in there and told them that I was to come. So I did.
Margaret lived in the cities at that time?
Margaret lived in the cities.
And then how often would you go home?
Oh, I take the bus, not often. Oh. They'd meet me then at that corner. What's that corner called? Well, there's a gas station there. They'd meet me there, and I think Mary has taken the bus there too. But I didn't come home that often.
Did they come to visit you?
Well, Mother came. She had to have some surgery done. But come to visit me? I don't know. They came for. I think they came for graduation. But
Did both of them drive you down there?
I think so. I think both went. Because Mom probably wouldn't have driven in the cities. I don't know. But I think after when they did drive, to see Mary in Washington, D.C. when she went there. And they also came up to see, I mean, this is just, they were going places. She went to, Mary, her first year of teaching was here in Albany or someplace up the road. And she put on some of the programs at the school. And they'd come up and see that.
So Mary taught before she went to get her master's?
I think just one. Possibly two. But I think just one. And she went. And that's where she met her husband.
Where was that she went to get her master's? Do you remember?
Catholic University out of Washington, D.C.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And Alan went to George Washington, I think, for his med school.
Mm.
Sound right?
I don't
I don't
know.
know for sure.
They met out there someplace.
Mm.
Yeah.
But
Was yours a 4-year program in nursing?
yes, we went all summer long to make it 4 years.
Oh, so it was a full,
Yeah,
Full-
so we got 4 years.
solid.
Yeah, we went. We didn't do. If you get 2-3 summers, you don't have to do the whole end of the year. But I happened to be named Froman, so I had to be one of the ones that had to finish last in the last set.
Oh, with the V.
Because I was.
The benefits of the name.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Tell me the story about how you met your husband.
You've heard it before.
I know, I'd like to hear it again.
Do you want him to tell you?
No, I'd like you to tell me, because I suspect they might be a little bit different.
Well, he adds a lot of flowers. Well, I met my husband when he came to the hospital at St. Mary's to have his appendix out. And what he'll say is that I was flitting and flipping all around him all the time, which isn't so. So now that's where I met him. That's what you wanted to know. That's where I met him. And then we started dating, and I realized this was a good catch because I never had to talk. And he liked kids. I could see he liked kids on the street. He talked to them. So I still don't have to talk.
And it was a good catch.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Huh.
right. So
Do you remember being on the farm when, before and then when electricity came?
oh yes. I was in high school by the time we got electricity.
What
Didn't
was?
Dick tell you?
He
No.
doesn't remember it that well.
Oh, well, they had to put in a big pole in our yard in order to get the electricity to that last half a mile or something. So it was very exciting when the electricity came. I think Don was excited about it too. But yeah, it was a good thing, some electricity.
How did life change? What was different once you had? I mean, it had to be quite different.
Well, we didn't have to clean the kerosene lamps all the time.
Yeah.
How did it change? Well, I think it was helpful to the men, to the male workers that were there, and just to have a light in the yard would be really helpful. Maybe they had a different kind of a light, though, something else that would produce lights. But